The Lakers' recent struggles had been a mixture of suboptimal defense, tough schedule, and bad vibes. So it would make sense that the return of Austin Reaves recently would inject new life into the team, providing them a huge scoring spark in limited minutes that helped trigger a 30-point swing in the score and kick off a long homestand with a victory led by 35 points from none other than Hillbilly Kobe. Being on a minutes restriction due to his calf injury meant Reaves didn't even check into the game until 2 minutes were left in the first quarter, making his scoring outburst even more impressive. And it didn't even start out amazing, as he got lucky that the logo obscured the midcourt line for a turnover, which was due to a willingness by the defense to send a second defender at him as much as they could. Not the nicest way for Sixers coach Nick Nurse to welcome him back from a long absence, but it ended up working well as LeBron had one of his worst halves of the season, posting a stat line in 18 minutes that I'm sure he'd prefer to forget. As a result, LeBron had no problem deferring to Reaves at the end of the quarter to create something, and the Sixers again went to jump him with the ball. Splitting the defenders isn't the worst idea, but it does require throwing the ball out in front and risk getting it stolen, but the ref is there to say Grimes got too much of an advantage. So, Reaves hadn't even shot the ball in the first quarter, making his total even more impressive, but it was time to get going. VJ Edgecombe intended to switch this high pick and roll, but Grimes was late getting between the ball and the basket. It also made zero sense for Joel Embiid to be stuck to the non-shooting Vanderbilt at the elbow. There is no help, and Reaves gets his easiest basket of the season. The biggest struggle for the Lakers offense was when Luka needed a rest on the bench, so inserting Reaves into this lineup is a huge boost. However, this possession was a mess. It looked like an initial alignment of horns, with both corners and high post filled, with LeBron quickly stepping up to set a ball screen. However, Maxi Kleber is facing the wrong way and is getting in the way of this action without even realizing it. And then you have Rui Hachimura cutting up and directly into the Reaves path. They actually had a cut by Kleber for a layup that Reaves missed, and the whole set goes stagnant. Reaves is able to create a drive into the lane for the little runner, but he's long off the back rim with it. So here's a better version of that horn set with Luka back in the lineup. Reaves gets a great screen from LeBron, and Doncic hits him only to find Embiid right up in his face. At this point, Justin Edwards had picked him up and should have stayed with him. Instead, no one is guarding him until it's too late, as he lets us know that the three ball is working for him. But there was still some rust in his game after the long 19-game absence. Normally, his handle is extremely tight, but going behind the back this close to the sideline can be a little risky, as he just lifts his right hand higher than where the ball was, and it bounces out of bounds for a bad turnover. Reaves wasn't just contributing on the offensive end. He gets into legal guarding position in the direct path of the driver, he's squared up to him, takes the contact and goes down to the floor, coaxing the charge call and negating the Sixers basket. The pick and roll was what killed Philly's defense all night, as Reaves feasted at the rim. The Lakers force an initial switch by having a shooter ball screen for Reaves first, then they twist this into an inside ball screen, and watch what Kleber does on the roll. He pivots to get Bona on his back, so when Reaves snake dribbles to put Tyrese Maxey in jail, there is no one able to stop him getting right to the rim for an easy layup. Unfortunately, Luka goes down with what appears to be a hamstring injury and has to go to the bench for the rest of the game, meaning the pressure on Reaves to create plays goes up considerably since they don't have anyone else who can reliably do it. More solid defense turns into offense for Reaves as he switches on the handoff, denies middle, and then contests this off the dribble three well, while also leaking out down court. This loose ball lured the shooter into no man's land, and that means no one can get back in time to stop what is now the easiest shot he's had all season long. Luka could be out for a long stretch, and with Reaves still ramping up his minutes and the schedule about to get ridiculously hard, you might want to pick the under for their players' output when using PrizePicks, where all you have to do is pick more or less in a variety of different categories. Tonight I'm going with Derek White getting more than 6.5 assists, Cade Cunningham lighting up the Knicks for more than 25.5 points, and Andrew Nembhard grabbing more than 3.5 boards. Plus, I opted into a power play, so look what I stand to win. Even better, this week, PrizePicks has a special max discount for the big game, live in the app now. Drake May just needs one passing yard for the max discount to win. Just add one player to your lineup, and if your picks hit, you can cash in. Follow me on the app so you can just copy my lineups, something you'll benefit from during basketball season. Best of all, download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Back to the action, and Reaves tried to deal with the aggressive Edgecombe defense on this get action with a quick pull into a foul. It doesn't look like there was any illegal contact, and the Sixers turned this into a layup and an 8-point lead heading into halftime. But Reaves didn't let that bother him, as the Lakers were moving the ball much better than normal against this aggressive Sixers defense. The short roll forces Embiid to rotate over, and Edgecombe properly splits the difference and closes to the ball. Then Maxey's a little slow on the second closeout, allowing Reaves to shot fake right by him into the middle. He goes off both feet and hangs before shooting softly on the way down. Teams are still pressuring Reaves as if he doesn't have a good handle and quick first step. The Sixers also do something interesting defensively as Maxey passes his man to Embiid so he can hover at the free throw line extended. As Vanderbilt comes up to ball screen, Maxey initially pre-switches to handle this, leaving Kleba completely unguarded in the corner. Barlow is also lost and can't get in position when Reaves uses his right arm to smack the defender's hand off his waist, which also gives him a momentum boost into the lane. He then veers back to his right away from Embiid and double pumps to shoot soft on the way down off the glass. With this game about to get out of hand and no Luka, Reaves comes back in a little early in the third to try and salvage something while down 12 points. He again mishandles the behind-the-back dribble under pressure. You're still risking a lot by pressing him that far out, as he uses the recovery to get right by Oubre. I love the hesitation to read the defense under control and then get low and go as Edgecombe touches the ball after it hits the backboard for the goaltend and 2 more points. Down 10 and in transition, Reaves knows it tends to be easier to shoot a pull-up for righties when the left hand is dribbling, and even better when going to the left, since the shooting hip and elbow are already aligned to the basket, as he hops back to the open left wing and clean swishes this right through to begin the comeback. Not only is he fast with the ball, he's crafty with his change of direction and pace. This ball screen was set for Reaves to go to his right, but when Grimes anticipates too much, Austin rejects the screen with a crossover and throws in a hezzy at the three-point line for good measure. Embiid doesn't bite, so he accelerates toward his body, then uses the inside hand finish to protect the ball, forcing Embiid to back off for fear of a foul, and the gorgeous twist to get it to fall off the glass. Reaves again tried a quick pull into the shot to earn free throws and is incensed when he doesn't get them. But what he's not realizing is that the rules are very clear for a driving player outside the lane like this. He must not only gather the ball, which he did before the foul occurs, but he must also be in his upward motion into the shot. It's clear that after the illegal contact here, he takes a whole other step before jumping up into the shot, hence it's a non-shooting foul. As the game got tighter and tighter, they turned to Reaves more and more to bail them out. This was great individual defense by the Sixers to force the Lakers deep into the shot clock before they could even mount an attack. Great rotation to stop LeBron, better skip to the open man, and this is what we call a grenade, when you toss it to a teammate with no time on the shot clock. Look what Reaves is forced to do. No dip, and barely time to get into the set point before hoisting it up. He didn't even have time to get his feet aligned properly, so he finds it after he's in the air with the rotation on the way down for a perfect back rim and down make. Wow. He's got 25 points in 17 minutes at this point, and the Lakers have just gotten the lead back. LeBron doesn't see anything against the drop coverage of Embiid, so he kicks it to Reaves with Edgecombe all over him. Unclear what made him feel like this was a good shot, but when you're feeling it, everything is easy as he pound dribbles, jab step with the right before stepping back slightly and quick releasing over the rookie to increase their lead. Let's give more credit to his defense as the Sixers target him with the ball screen and switch onto Embiid in his absolute favorite spot on the court. Austin expertly keeps his hands out of the cookie jar multiple times so the refs can't call a reach, and he keeps just enough pressure on the drive to induce the turnover as Embiid just fumbles it out of bounds. More pick and roll for Reaves in the left wing, and while he does try to jump back into the defender, it's not unnatural enough, nor is the contact severe enough to merit an offensive foul. I might say the ref could have just swallowed the whistle on a play like this, and with Nick Nurse upset about it, something tells me Austin knew it as well. More great defense by Reaves as he keeps Edgecombe in front, shows his chest so it's not a foul, and that allows Vandy to knock it away. One thing, you should always know never to save the ball under your own basket like this, since usually it turns into a scoring chance for your opponent. At most, try and toss it to half court, but instead Philly turns it into 2 free throws. At this point, it was just about the exclamation point on an incredible night, as Reaves knows the Sixers want to hedge these ball screens, so he slips out to the flat, LeBron delivers it, and this isn't an easy shot. Moving quick to his left, having to catch it and rotate to get aligned in one movement, but it was that kind of night as everything lined up perfectly and the lead is now 13. He was even setting good screens out of this horn set as he sneaks up behind LeBron's man. Grimes didn't want to switch because of Reaves' huge threat, and that means LeBron is open and Reaves gets the screen assist. And as the game was just about over, they continued to pressure him 45 feet from the basket, and there's just no way to keep him in front from that far off, as Grimes is forced to foul or else give up yet another layup. So Reaves is no doubt a welcome sight for the Lakers, but made even more important with the impending absence of Luka during this gauntlet of a stretch of games, with the only saving grace that they're mostly at home. But they're going to have to lift the minutes restriction sooner than later if they want any chance of winning half of these upcoming games. But then again, being 12 games over 500 gives them a little leeway.